Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another devlog. Last time I showed you how the multiplayer lobby and bicycle systems worked. And now I've added a few more features and changes in the prototype. First things first, I added an enemy AI with 3 states: patrolling, alert and chase. It was first tested in the single player environment and then I moved it to the multiplayer setup. Currently I have a keybind that alerts the AI as if it heard the player. This helps me test the alert state. Later down the road, the AI will have to react to the player actions like running, opening doors or interacting with other objects. Initially, when I tried deploying the enemy AI in the multiplayer setup, it wouldn't chase or react to any player in the game. So I used the multiplayer synchronizer to replicate the AI state across all clients without additional sync logic to be put from my side. Next, I reworked the bicycle controls. Previously, the turning was stiff and slope handling felt rough. To be honest, the slope handling wasn't even there. After tweaking, it seems smoother and more natural, although I might just end up using the physics engine later on because I noticed the bike while going downhill wasn't aligning properly to the ground, which is a classic slope problem for kinematic bodies. I improved the slope alignment with raycasts for testing. However, keeping things 100% kinematic was giving me a hard time dealing with the edge cases that kept piling on. For now, I'm keeping the slopes flat because the bike still can't handle the slopes that well. Later, I refactored the multiplayer remote action flow to make the client and server communication more predictable and structured. More than anything, I made it so that it's readable when I go back to my code after a certain time. The client can ask the server to execute functions using the following. The server executes the requested function for the client and broadcasts it to everybody present in the server. Any method that needs to process data passed by the client will require an additional RPC such as these helpers below. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but if you guys need to know how I did it, I can surely make a tutorial on this. I've added an interaction system made up of 2 nodes, which is the interactor and the interactable, which handles the player world interactions. The interactable is an area 3D that holds data like interact text, the type, defining whether it reacts to an area or a ray interactor, which I'll explain later on, its parent, and the interaction type, specifying what kind of action occurs, such as a player death, scene change, item pickup, whatever. The interactor is a node that uses either an area 3D or a raycast 3D to detect nearby interactables. When contact or collision occurs, it shows an interaction prompt. Pressing the interact button emits an interacted signal, which another script on its parent node can handle. For example, the player's interactor can detect the bicycle's interactable node, and then the player can use that to mount itself directly onto the bicycle. Lastly, I added a spectate camera system for dead players. So when a player dies, they switch to a spectate mode where they can view the game through the cameras of the remaining alive players. It also allows the dead players to cycle through each alive player's perspective using the key inputs. I added this so that the players don't feel bored after they die in the game. For now, since most of the main systems are working, I created a sample flow to get the feel of how the game would play out. The current flow goes something like this. First, the players enter into a lobby, and when they start the game, they hit the road where they would be riding the bicycles and would encounter their first point of interest. Next, I'll be working on what happens after you enter the point of interest, such as a lake house or a cabin, whatever, and how the enemy AI behaves inside these locations, including enemy spawning, positioning, and behavior along with handling players' death and escape. I believe that's it for the devlog. Thanks for watching and probably I'll see you in the next one.